Thank you for staying with us. We still have with us Najib Bello in the studio, as well as Dominic Alanja in our Abuja studio, as well as Mukhtar Inya from New York City. Dominic, let me just come to you now again. Just before we went on the break, Mukhtar and Najib have one view, in common. They believe the president hasn't done much, but you have spoken about, or have spoken in glowing terms about the president's move, in trying to curb this insecurity problem that has been happening in the country. So when you're talking about that, what exactly are you talking about?
Well, like I said earlier, that the Boko Haram of 2018 is not the same Boko Haram in 2013, 2014, when we have a lot of challenges. Boko Haram taking over some local government, over 14 local government in northeastern Nigeria. Today, like I said, their power have been whittled down, they have been disseminated, and they are just regrouping. If he was not doing enough, we wouldn't have been at this level. So I believe that he has done so much, in the fight against terrorism. And see, let me tell you, the fight against terrorism is not something that we can win overnight. It is on record that Bangladesh army are reputed for winning the fight against terrorism, and it took them 25 years. All we need to do is to support the Nigerian army, is to support Mr. President in their effort, to curb this menace, to bring to book, some of these enemies of Nigeria, some of these, terrorists that are, killing Nigerians and stuff like that, So I think the president is doing much. Talking about the 1 billion fund, well, I'm not in position to give account of that, but I believe that, for us to have so much successes that have been recorded in the fight against corruption. Some of those funds went into that, but I agree with them that at least the Nigerian army and those in charge of these funds should give us account. But I believe that Mr. President is doing much, and we need to give him the necessary support. Another thing I'm afraid of.
Dominic, let me come in there. When you talk about support, what kind of support are you talking about now?
Yeah, the moral support that the leadership needs in order to, to continue with the fight, against this terrorism. But let me say this, this is election year. My fear is that let this not, be another political capital that politicians will, take advantage to score cheap political popularity and goals, I'm afraid there is need for us to also interrogate it so that it will not be that a political arm of Boko Haram are the one, infiltrating this, perpetrating this act.
Let me just hold you there for a bit. Let me hold you there for a bit and bring back Mukhtar into the conversation. We're about to wrap up now. Mukhtar, what would be the way forward? I mean, this has been going on for a while now. Monies are being, earmarked for the military to secure or to buy or to purchase arms. But I mean, we're still where we are. What should we be doing differently to see that we bring this insurgency to an end?
Well, let me just clarify something. I think in terms of funding the military and providing supplies, equipment, and what have you, I think the president is doing a great job. I think, yes, there are troops who still haven't been rotated out in a timely manner. There are bits and pieces of equipment which are obsolete, but overall, I think the army is in a better state than it was 4 years ago. From all evidence that I have been able to see and obtain, that's the case. Like I said earlier, I think what the president needs to be is a bit more decisive with changing the commander of the army. Because at the end of the day, each of the armed forces has someone in charge of it, and that person, overall responsibility is with that person. And again, I think General Burta is a very good soldier, but unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to do what needs to be done. If nothing else, what he has had on his side is the fact that Boko Haram on its own had internal squabbles where they broke into two factions, and also the fact that they decided to follow their troops for a while. If not, what we just saw in Matele would have been happening continuously all over the place. So again, I think the president needs to change the upper echelons of the army. Another thing I think is that Nigerians need to understand that when everybody becomes an armchair general giving opinions on who is doing what and where, vis-a-vis releasing information about battles, about dead soldiers, and so on and so forth, we are aiding and abetting the enemy. I don't think that helps. I think that brings down the morale of our troops. I think that boosts the morale of Boko Haram, and I think that's something that we really need to stop doing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I have to say thank you for joining us on the program. Mukhtar Danyan, you joined us from New York in the United States of America. Thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts on the program. Dominic, as well, I'd like to say thank you for joining us on the program today and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Well, so just before we go, what do you think is the way forward, quickly?
I think for now, what we need to do, definitely, you see, the thing is, it's not just about politicians. When it's getting to election time, it's not just about politicians getting involved with all these Boko Haram things. But the Boko Haram themselves, they know that during this period, our government is a bit lax with some things. So that's why they attack. So we have to sit up and make sure.
So it might not even be a political...
No, it might not be. It just fits into their strategy. So that we should sit up, we should equip these people. Air support is very important. Bring in those planes. Let's attack. Let's be on the attack. Let's not be on the defensive.
Well, let's hope we will be, on the attack, like you said, not on the defense. But I have to say thank you as well.
Thank you very much
for joining us on the program
today.
Thanks,
Victor.
And that's where we are. We'll be back with the movie videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.
Men, operatives of the Nigerian police.
We begin this week's most viewed videos with the arrest of suspected new Naira note merchant in Benin City, the Edo State capital, by officers of the Nigerian police. It is followed in fourth by the video of the wedding ceremony of Tiwatope and Adedolakbo, which was blessed by the Ooni of Ife, Adeyeye Ogunwusi.
I have never seen where you conduct an election and somebody won, and from nowhere you bring another person as a candidate of the party. It's unacceptable.
Third sport is taken by the video of Mr. Uche Wonsu, insisting that he is the governorship candidate of the APC in Imo State.
If there are issues of finances, if there are issues of fraud, if there are issues of corruption, I don't think those fall within the purview of DSS. I think there are established agencies like the EFCC. We even have a whole outfit, ICPC, whose mandate is expressly to deal with alleged cases of corruption.
Second place sees the chairman of the APC reacting to the claims that he was grilled by officials of the Department of State Service, DSS.
Right, takeoff is done, and now he's still pretty close. Again, he's struggling, but definitely it's that man.
And in first place is the highlights of the first edition of the Channels Classics track and field event organized for secondary school girls and boys under the age of 17.
We got Ogbogu Chiemeka from St. Gregory's College in Lane 6, edging that one that I can confirm for you.
Well, there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. But Rights Group SERAP has listed a probe into defense spending since 1999 as one of the solutions to this quagmire, but as some locals have suggested, dialogue, rehabilitation, reintegration, and rebuilding will also go a long way in not only curbing the crisis, but returning the once bubbly region to its lost glory. And we wrap it up on that note, but as always, continue via the social media addresses showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Mathias.